Once upon a time, two boys grew up playing hockey in the village of Terrace, British Columbia. One of them went on to play in the National Hockey League. The other became a comedian. Now, one flies planes and coaches youth hockey. The other is still a comedian and owns new skates. This is their podcast, Enjoying Orange Slices with Jeff and Ian.
It's a new year. It's a hard knocks life. It's 2026. It only took us 1 week to get a show in. Jeffrey Sharples is traveling around the world, retired. Unshaven Jeff scares everybody.
Yeah. Once in a while, that's how I know I've been off work for a couple days. Is just let it go, scare all the kids at the rink. They're like
Yelling at people. Yeah.
Santa, go back to the North Pole. So
Yeah.
no, it's good. I just I looked this morning. I'm like, better shave. I got to go back to work.
Better
But
shave.
it's been a good run. No
Better
complaints.
shave.
So what's going on? And Lord Bagg, you got a good base again today, I see. Like, what's going on? I thought you were on the East Coast.
I was on the East Coast having a meltdown. We were out in the sun yesterday, so we were out wandering around near the beats. We walked down to the beats, took the dogs down. Oh, great story. Great story. So this is my wife. I had to make one phone call. So she goes ahead of me. She goes ahead by, I don't know, 20 feet, just storming, right? I see this dude lying on, there's this grass part. I see him lying and he's got a towel over his legs, right? He's lying down, he's got a towel over his legs. And then I can see his no shoes and feet, right? Like ankles and stuff like that. Looks like, basically in the position of you're having a baby, right? So who do I see right dead in front of him? Right dead in front of him, stops. La la la, drinking her coffee, not paying attention to anything. And I'm like, keep going. She's like, what? And I'm like, keep going. She's like, what? And she's looking around. She's like, I just wouldn't move. I'm like, can you keep going? Right? Johnny's got his dangle out. He's all naked from that. He's got his taint pointing at the sun, trying to get it all in there. And she is clueless. She goes, oh, I didn't notice. Like, how could you not notice the size of that thing? It was blocking out the sun to three houses, for crap's sakes. Anyways.
So he's just on a, yeah, well, that's Long Beach for you right there, Southern California. Just you got to get the base. You got to get the base.
He was doing his thing to the sun, showing himself to the sun is what he was doing. It was weird.
There's a lot of places I guess you could do that, but right where people are walking and on their bikes and rollerblades, because rollerblades is a big thing down there too. No better place than that, right?
Every so often you'll see somebody fly by in a pair of rollerblades.
Yeah.
Enjoy the 80s.
That's what they say.
I like the guys that ride their bikes down there. They got the tunes going. They got those kind of like, I wouldn't call them lowrider bikes, but those cruisers, I guess they're called.
Yeah, relaxing. Beach cruisers is what they're called.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. It's been a while since I've been down there with you, but I remember. So
you've been up to Terrace more times than you've been down here.
That's right. I have been recently. We haven't talked since we didn't do one after Christmas because I was too busy shoveling.
Shoveling BS.
It was, I love the North. I got to say, a little shout out to our hometown, but you pretty hardy. Well, you were in the East Coast of Canada, so you know all about being a hardy person, but we had 1.5 feet of snow up there. It was a white Christmas, so it went from being really cold to 1.5 feet of snow to raining on top of the snow. And my mom's all over me. Don't you shovel? She'd like the kids shovel, but she didn't want me to have a heart attack. I'm like, Mom, it's okay.
Well, they say have a heart attack because it's cold and then you're hot and then your body's not used to it. It's a temperature thing more than a doing thing, right?
Yeah. So when it first started to fall, it was awesome.
But the kids could have a heart attack too.
Yeah, anybody could, right? You see younger people doing it all the time. But my thing is I do dabble in aviation from time to time. When I looked and they just canceled all of the flights in and out of Terrace, and I was like, Yeah, they're just like, and one of them, well, you and I even watched it. I was like, oh, they're sending one up. And they turned around about halfway, said, no, we're not doing it. And then yeah, it went back to Vancouver. So that's
I've
the
been
one
on that
thing.
flight before. I've been on that flight before where you're like, oh, we should be landing in Terrace. Oh, we're not landing in Terrace for a little bit. Oh, I guess we're late. Oh, look at that outside. That's Surrey. We're back in Vancouver.
Yeah.
So,
So that's the thing about it. Like you can buy your ticket, but that's no guarantee. Like we're we're so spoiled that we go to the airport and they're like, "Oh, we're mad. It's delayed." Can you believe it's delayed 45 minutes? Well, you know what? How about 3 days? Like there was a day and a half, nothing got in, no flights in or out, and then they got her going, and they do a good job up there. But yeah, a foot and a half of snow, it wasn't
well, I'm
happening.
going up in February. I'm going up first week of February, and I have to be in Vancouver on the Friday. And my sister's like, "You fly out on the Thursday because there's just been so much confusion with flights lately." So
Yeah.
we'll
Oh,
see.
I mean, that's just part of the deal up there. And you know, they do a good job. I mean, I think back to the day we used to go in there and they used to CP Air, remember that? 737. I
Hmm.
remember one time being in the back. We went around 7 times. Captain Woods at the helm. I remember it because everyone loved this guy. Just keep doing her till he got her in. 7 times we
And
did
did he get
missed
it down?
approaches. Yep. Yep.
He got it down.
He got her in. Yep. And or if you couldn't, finally they'd go out like to Prince Rupert and
Is Prince Rupert still around? Because I noticed they don't go to Prince Rupert anymore.
yeah, they do. I think Jazz goes up there from Vancouver. They're still,
But they
but
used
yeah,
to
they
they
don't
used to
do the.
cancel the flights into Terrace all the time, and then you'd bus over to Prince Rupert, but they don't do that anymore.
No, no, they don't
Why
do
not?
that. I just think logistically, I mean, if it's bad in Terrace, do you really want to be on the highway to Prince Rupert?
Yes.
If you live up there, I know everyone's up there. Yeah, we do it all the time. Well, I went to go do it in my mom's car, and I was like, after we got all the snow, I'm like, that's
Did you turn it
I,
around?
yeah, I
Got the
turned her
got the
around. I was
Remo and
like,
said
you know,
no
everyone's
thanks.
going by me and they're all wheel drives. I'm like, I'm not driving my mom's front wheel drive Honda to Prince Rupert today. Sorry. And so we went out. That's the day we went out to the lake and it was beautiful, beautiful. So
There'll be no fish and chips in the Sharples household tonight.
no, that's right. That's right. So
Well,
what,
excellent. This is basically our Christmas episode and New Year's episode is what we're talking about. So you guys are up there. What day did you finally get out?
well, we got out on the 30th. So we weren't trying to get out before everything. And I think they added an extra flight back in because they obviously had people stuck in Vancouver. But they're used to doing that. And
Yeah.
you know what? I flew the Q400 for many a year at the Mighty Horizon Airlines. And I got to say, um, the airplane probably, I mean, its capability is awesome. And to get in and out of there, that's what they fly in. These guys do a good job, man, for Jazz
It's
and
it's a pretty
Encore
crazy
too.
plane, but
Yeah.
it's a pretty crazy plane, but it ain't comfortable. I'll tell you that much.
No, you know
It
what?
is
I
not a
think
comfortable plane.
an hour and 30 minutes in that's probably a stretch. You know, we used to fly that from LA down. I was telling someone we flew it from LA down to La Paz, Mexico, block time, 2 hours and
Ooh,
20 minutes in the back
ooh,
of that
ooh,
thing.
ooh. Oh my
Like,
God. That's great.
what?
I
So
did Toronto to Halifax
in a
and
Q400?
and then Moncton to Ottawa and he said before we left, oh, the last third's going to get a little bumpy and well, and when we got a little bumpy he didn't say anything and I was just like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, I guess I won't be sleeping through this just as I fly up and fly down. Hey, ooh, hey. Ooh. So
Well, this is kind of a nice segue on aviation today because we're going to tie hockey in, and we're going to tie hockey and aviation in. Uh, Surprise, surprise! We're going to have another guest today. Um, we can talk a little hockey before we bring the guest in too, though, if you want. Oh, you know what?
he's in the waiting room right now if you
Oh,
want him
is
to
he
come in.
okay? Well, then let's just bring him in.
Well, you want to give him a good intro? You want to give him a good intro?
Oh boy. Okay. So this particular individual was not only cut his teeth and made it as a pro in the NHL and for I think he played 14 years, over 500 games, but he also segued, I use that again, but his second act was into aviation where he put in 25 years for Hawaiian Airlines. And he's a returning guest on the show and I don't know how many times we can say that. He might be one of the first we've ever had return, if not the first. Captain Rod Buskas, we did his retirement flight last 2 Mondays ago. And I'm going to tell you, I've been a part of a lot of stuff in my life. I've been very fortunate, but this was a special day with all his family and friends, and just made me think about what a special guy he is, because I was lucky enough to play with Rod on the ice, and also shared some aviation with him. We used to fly around here in Vegas together. He had a small airplane, but his um, his way about people, he was one of the toughest guys to play, and he could still throttle you if he wanted to. But all I could think about is professionalism and the grace that he has, which you don't normally balance, have grace and toughness together. But anyways, he treated everyone like gold, and I think he can explain for himself today how he feels about 20 people following him around Honolulu for 4 days. But
That's awesome. Let's go to
I don't know
Rod.
what the next act is, but we'll ask him today and see if there's anything.
Let's bring him in, Rod Buskas. There he is, Rod Buskas, retired.
Yeah,
How
I
are you?
really have nothing to say because I got nothing to do.
He's got nothing to say. Just gonna go out to the mailbox and come back in.
That's it, man. Yeah.
So I got a question. First of all, congratulations, Rod.
Thank you, Ian.
It's
Yeah.
crazy that you had such a great hockey career, and you go into this next career and it's so great as well. Like when you're a little kid, did you have any thoughts of doing either of these things that they would actually become true?
Well, not really. You always have a dream as a kid in Canada, as you guys did, playing hockey. And I didn't really know about the flying until my mother brings up some of these old pictures and stuff. I was drawing airplanes when I was about 6 years old and don't even remember that. So
Uh-huh.
I must have had some kind of interest in aviation way back when, and I always have. But hockey was my number one thing, and this just kind of worked out. After hockey, I got into aviation, and like your partner Jeff, doing the same thing. Here we are, and now I got to retire. I've had two retirees or two retires from jobs, and I'm not sure I'm going to look for the hat trick or just leave it at two.
That's funny. Go for the Hattie. Go for the Hattie. Jeff, I know you're going to talk to him, but I did want to ask this question before I let Jeff talk to you, because I know you guys talk a little bit every so often. When you retired from the NHL, was it anything like retiring from the airline? Like you got to have so many friends. Was the NHL just stop, sudden emergency break, you're done, or was there like kind of a year long, I'm not coming back next year?
It was different, Baggsy. I think because, in the NHL, I played, 14 years, about 11 in the NHL, and went to the minors at the end of my career and didn't really know how that was going to last. And then I came back. Actually, Jeff remembers I retired and I came back for half a year here in Vegas. So it was kind of like off and on. And it wasn't a sudden thing. Well, aviation was different because I had a retirement flight and it was built up, you had to pick your retirement flight. They had this big, kind of festivities go on over there. The company does a lot of stuff. I had 18 people on board that wanted to fly, so you knew that was it. In
Right.
hockey, I wasn't really as certain that when my last game might have been. For example, I knew when my last flight was with the airlines, and so that was, I guess, the big difference. That kind of thing. So.
Hey, I don't know if Rod wants to answer any questions from me or talk to me, because we just spent the last 4 or 5 days together doing that. But Busky, one of the things that I think people, obviously the hockey career, and then you go into aviation, but when you came out, I think this might apply to a lot of people. When you came out of hockey, like this is your second go around, so you're a little bit more relaxed. You've already done this once. You kind of know how it works. If you want to do something else, you can. What was the transition like coming out of hockey? Like, and then because you're still a young guy and you still got lots of miles left, but you're in your 30s, I'm guessing, when you come out of hockey. Like, what's the difference in the transition this time? And I know we just did the flight a week ago, but where's your mind now versus like what are some of the things you learned going through it the first time that people might be interested in knowing, because people change jobs all the time. Maybe not as high profile as what you're doing, but they do.
Yeah, that's a good question, Sharps. Like I coming out of hockey, I kind of knew where I was going, which was fortunate. I had my private license. I was into flying. I got into flying. I remember when I was playing with the LA Kings near the end of my career. We had one of our first planes, us and Detroit Red Wings. We had a 727. I sat up front. They let me fly the plane. No one knows that. It was 2 a.m, and the guys would have freaked out back. But I I really got into flying then. So I knew where I was going when my career was done, which a lot of guys don't have that luxury. They don't know where they're going because all they've done is play hockey, and you get out now, you got to find some interest you're doing. It's not like today where we were all on $10-15 million contracts. You could take your time and go do what you want. That was way back when you had to had to find something you wanted to do. So that was good for me. I was lucky, and as you know, I got in the flight school business and build hours and so on. But it was always aviation. I was into aviation. Where this time around is much more relaxed. I feel like I'm basically not sure what if I want to do anything at all. I'm like a free agent, though. I'm taking offers for anything.
That's why we got you on today, because
yeah,
we're gonna send. This is like a resume we're sending out now. I have no social media, but we're relying on Lord Bagg. We're talking about one of the things. Lord Bagg, he just he had to go take care of the dogs here, I think. But talk about the outpouring. Oh, hey, welcome back, LB. Talk about the outpouring, and I don't want to get it in front of ourselves here, but it blew me away. And just talk about the outpouring from the hockey community once this started getting out there, and how people reached out to you, and just how that makes you feel. I mean, it's incredible.
Well, it was mind-boggling, Sharps, and completely surprised and overwhelming, to tell you the truth, because I've heard from people that 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I'll give you one example. I had a nice text from Willie Lindstrom, of all people. I play with him in Pittsburgh. He's in Sweden, and that's just an example, right? I mean, I don't know where this all hit. Like, social media is crazy. That's why Orange Slices is just knocking it big time, because you hit social media and things can just spread, right? So it was very overwhelming. I've heard from people like all over the world almost, right? But the hockey community, the Penguins, the LA Kings put stuff on their sites for me. So it was special, very special.
Well, what was great about it is your son he recorded everything, and we put together this little video for you, and I seen it and I was like, hey man, can I post this, because it's fantastic. We'll show it. We'll put a link to it right here.
Today's flight from Las Vegas to Honolulu is a very special one for us and for many on board. We have the distinct honor of celebrating the retirement of your captain, Rod Buskas, who is flying his final trip after 21 remarkable years with Hawaiian Airlines. Over the course of his aviation career at Hawaiian Airlines, he has flown the DC-10, the Boeing 767, the Boeing 717, and the Airbus A330, amassing thousands of hours in the cockpit, safely carrying countless passengers across the Pacific with professionalism, calm leadership, and deep respect for this airline and the people who make it special. In addition to the hours in the cockpit, he has also served the Hawaiian Pilots Union with distinction as the vice chair of our union, advocating for his fellow aviators with integrity and dedication. What makes today even more extraordinary is the journey that brought Rod here. Before taking the flight deck, he completed a 14-year National Hockey League career, playing at the highest level with the Chicago Blackhawks, Los Angeles Kings, and Pittsburgh Penguins. A testament to the discipline, teamwork, and perseverance that clearly carried forward in his aviation career. Joining us on board today are multiple family members and close friends of Rod's, including his wife Deborah, his daughter Paulina, son Blake, brother Wayne, and many family friends who come together to celebrate a life defined by service, commitment, and excellence. It's truly special to have all of you on board to share this moment with him. On a personal note, I want to say how grateful I am to call this captain a colleague, but a dear friend. He stood beside me as the best man at my wedding, and his loyalty, steadiness, and generosity of spirit are the same qualities that have defined him both in life and in the cockpit. Captain Rod, thank you for your service to Hawaiian Airlines, for your leadership, your friendship, for the countless memories you've helped create in the skies. It's a privilege to fly with you today. On behalf of your entire flight crew today, thank you, Rod.
7 Heavy, we'd like to say congratulations to Captain Rod, and we know that he gave a lot of years in service to Hawaiian Airlines. Thank you for the service, and hopefully we'll see you someday on the South Ramp.
Thank you very much. You guys just did a great job for us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, hui ho.
Is Captain Rod Buskas at the helm today?
He is, actually. How do you know Rod?
We got to send a message from air traffic here at Las Vegas for possible pilot deviation. We just want on a great career and enjoy retirement.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. You guys do the best.
Yes, sir. Hope you have a great flight and enjoy your.
I'll be talking to you in the future, flying a Cessna 172 around the valley here, so all the best.
It's almost exactly like what you're flying now, huh?
Yeah, real close.
All right, can't wait to talk to you again.
Thanks a lot.
So this is Captain Buskas signing off for the last time. Mahalo for flying from Hawaii and Alaska. Hui ho, aloha.
But it was you know what I said to him? I'm like, hey man, you're really good at this, telling a story. Do you want to go on? I said, do you want to go to film school? I know a guy that teaches film school. I can help him go to film school. It was crazy, but the way he put it together, it really told a great story and showed all these people that were just excited for you. The only thing I wanted to ask that I was surprised, don't they usually spray with the plane with water as you come in? Do they do that?
That was the first thing I said. You know, it's like the cannon spray or whatever they call it, and we were doing it right up until a few months ago.
No way.
That was the first thing I said to our chief pilot, Ian Massaro. He says, everything good? Because they did a lot of stuff over there for me. I said, well, I missed the cannon spray, the water. And my wife was all excited. She wanted to have it. But we didn't get that. So I guess they're kind of stopping that procedure. But that's pretty cool. Yeah.
It would have been. I was just like, oh, I wonder if they didn't get that. So they don't do that anymore. Just saving water or just.
I don't know what
planes rust.
I didn't even really ask for any explanation, but that's what they requested it. Our company requested it, but whatever happened, they didn't do it. So, but talking about the video, Baggsy, that was my son Blake did that, and I had more compliments on that. He spent the whole time doing that. I don't know how he did it, like narration in the background and ATC talking and shots of this, shots of that. He flies airplanes right now and works for a company here in Vegas, but he should do something like that part-time, because he's pretty good at that kind of thing. You know?
I honestly he knows how to tell a story.
Yes.
Right? And that's like he didn't use the top editing thing, but I was just like, I can help you. I know a guy that, if you want to go to, and he's like, oh, I've got a kid and I'm trying to raise, I was like, okay. Yeah. Like, but that
crazy. Video went viral. It went, so many people saw that. I don't even know how it went out that crazy, strong, but it did.
It was nice to see just random people just saying, oh, I used to watch him play hockey, like that's pretty cool,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are they now, Busky? And so, you're more popular now than you were back then, but that's where are they now? Jogs people's memory. But one of the things about it and the video, I don't think I'm overly emotional unless you ask, maybe you two shouldn't answer that, but I look at that video and what I think about Blake, and I think about but there's been so much more, and it just ties in family and what an impact you made, not only in the hockey, but now in the aviation community. But then you look back and all these guys that reached out to you, these organizations, I had people texting me that don't have Rod's number, going, we saw the video, congratulations to Rod. And I'm like, well, here's his number. You can text him and thank him. But I had people reaching out to me, obviously, that it affected. So it's a pretty cool thing. And, I was thinking on the water cannon, what we could do is get a couple of garden hoses out next time you take the 172 out at North Las Vegas and just kind of spray. We'll stand on both sides as long as you can taxi it straight, and we'll give you the cannon out it.
What would be good, Jeff, is I'll put my uniform on because I still have that. I'll put my captain's hat on.
Oh my God!
And I'll jump in the 172, and then you guys can spray me from either side.
You should just wear. You should wear that outfit anytime you fly the 172. Just wear.
That's what I said. I brought my hat home, right? I said, I'm bringing this home for a souvenir. And my daughter probably goes, well, why do you want that, Dad? I said, I'm going to wear that in the 172 when I go fly around the valley.
Yeah. Also, just any family event, I think you should wear it. Just to let people know.
Sure, just a barbecue or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Busky, just a question about the two professions, because we're mostly a travel podcast, sometimes hockey, but the professions obviously take a lot of, there's structure and discipline involved in both, but they're also very different, right? What would you say you took from hockey that you were able to apply, that you were kind of already ready for as you went into aviation, or something that you learned in aviation you wish you would have been able to apply in hockey? Do you have anything there you think back, and any parallels between the two professions that made you better or helped you get into the next one?
I think the big thing was being a team player. So in pro sports, you have to be a team player if you're a team, unless you're playing golf or something like that, obviously. But if you're a hockey on a team, as you know, it's important to be a team player and not an individual person. And airlines is much the same way. I mean, you have to get along with people. You know, you fly with different personalities, and we've often talked about this. Like 90% of the people we fly with are really good. You can tell they're team players. They can work with other people. Some can't. Some are more just individualists and they're not a team player, and you can pick those people out. So I think that's the big thing, like getting along with people makes you a better person, usually, right? Especially in the work environment. And it's amazing. Some people really can't do that. So that was one of the big things I took, sports to aviation. You have to work together as a team in aviation, as you know. And I think it's simple as that kind of thing. That's the big thing I took from it.
Yeah.
I think, and one of the things with the hockey world, and it's changed now because we've got an influx of players from all over the world, right? And we've got big European influence in the game. I think we'd all agree is probably is in as great a place as it's ever been. When we were in hockey, we had a lot of people come from similar kind of backgrounds as far as, right? But in aviation, you got people coming from everywhere. So, that's a great point. It's so true. It's, and the more you treat it like a team, I think the more successful ultimately the outcome of whatever you're doing is in life, right? Share the risk, share the reward, but make sure and you try and connect and it's a good point. So LB, did you, I didn't want to cut you off there. It looked like you were getting ready to go.
No, I wasn't going to ask. I was done. No. I was curious about when I'm guessing it was Painter that was doing the talking, was when you talked about all the planes that you had flown. You started off at Hawaiian Airlines on a 727?
I started off on DC-10.
On a DC-10.
The old DC-10 was a classic, the 3-engine airplane. And then I went to the actually, I went 767, but I got furloughed for 4.5 years. When I came back, I went to the Boeing 717. That's the smaller plane that flies inter-island. Okay, then I went to the 767 for I can't remember how many years. And then I went to the A330 around 2010, 11. I've been on that plane ever since.
Let's talk about those planes. What stuck out about each of those planes, good and bad? Like were you like, oh my God, like I can't believe the smartest people in the world came up with that. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I don't know. The DC-10 was probably the coolest plane, and I never really got to fly it because I was a flight engineer on that plane, right? And
how many? So how many people were up?
3-pilot, operation on the DC-10. You have an engineer, and so when you just get hired at Hawaii, in most places, you're the junior guy. So I was an engineer, but you had to know the systems inside out. So really, the engineer and the captain do most of the work. The first officer had the easiest job.
Just having coffee.
He just sat there, and it was pitot heat, windshield heat, adjust my seat, what's to eat, and that's all he did. I mean, I always wanted to fly in the right seat of DC-10 because it was the easiest job. But anyway, that was a really cool airplane. Went away. I flew the 7-1 for a short period, and most familiar with, I guess, the A330. you know, because I've been on that the longest, and that's the plane I retired on. So
As a couple as a guy, you and Jeff are playing nuts, and I'm just like a guy that rides on them. A330 and the 767 are pretty close to the same plane, right? Like just same plane, but
yes,
from different companies.
yeah, one's a Boeing and an Airbus. That's like
Right.
Chevy and a Ford, or whatever you want to say. They're both wide bodies. They got twin aisles. They're big airplanes. I think
It's the Bronco and the Blazer.
yeah, yeah. The 330 is maybe slightly bigger, I believe, weight wise than the 76, what I remember. But real good airplanes, and you know, just different kind of mentality. You know, Airbus versus Boeing, and today they're still the two biggest names in aviation, right? As far as airplanes, you know, they're competing against each other all the time. And Alaska Airlines, you know, now they, or I call us we, or formerly we, because I'm retired, but you know, they have both airplanes, and they're going to decide which way to go probably on a couple of their fleets.
Interesting. Let's go back to hockey. You
Yeah,
played for the Los Angeles Kings. You were drafted by Chicago, right? Is that what it was?
Pittsburgh.
You were drafted by Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
ended up in Chicago. You take us on the journey.
drafted by Pittsburgh, and then I had a short stint in Vancouver for only a few months, and then went back to. It's a weird story. I went back to Pittsburgh, and then went to L.A. and then Chicago.
So you get drafted by Pittsburgh. At that time, is there a big ceremony? Like, is there like a big draft process going on, or is it just you get called?
It's like today, you know. I mean, I remember it was kind of a disappointing day because you never listen to these projections, right? Projections of draft, because I was projected by Central Scouting I was going to go in the second round. Well, I never went till the sixth round, so it was kind of disappointing, right? But you got to realize it's really about what you do after you get there, you know. I
Right.
mean, but the draft day is a big day. I was sitting in the Travelodge lounge in Medicine Hat with my wife. I remember where I was, current wife. So that's how that went, and yeah, everything else is pretty much like it was today.
So you get drafted in the sixth round, and which today would be the third round, basically, right? Would it be what? Yeah.
I don't even know, Baggsy. I'm not even sure.
Is that school district 88, Matt? But
I'm trying to figure
Banksy,
out.
like, how are you getting that one?
There's
I
the
see what you
rounds.
mean. More teams. I got
Yeah.
you. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Nice work, Dick.
No, I was like,
I was always just like, well,
be the
today
third.
and
Busky,
today's
you'd be
Matt.
first overall today. That's where we'd put you. If we had a scouting list, we'd put you at the top.
I'd still put you in the sixth round.
Hey, Busky, you were one of the few guys. There was a couple, but you played with Mario Lemieux and you played with
Never heard of
Gretz.
him.
Yeah, and I know we're going to help you educate you right now, will be. And you played with Paul Coffey. You played with a lot of big stars. Is there anything that those two guys, of Mario, and I know you still keep in touch with him, because when we saw the alumni game you played in, you were standing beside him in the picture. So obviously, you made an impression on Mario. What would those two guys, or is there anybody else that you kind of had an impression, or that maybe wasn't a superstar that you still looked at when you were playing with them, or playing against them, and said, you know what, that's pretty cool. That I can put that into my arsenal. I want to carry the way that person carries himself, or the way they play forward.
Well, like yourself, Jeff, we played with a lot of great players, and I can make a big list. You know, I mean, those two guys, of course. You know, Jeremy Roenick, Chris Chelios, a lot of all stars that I played with. I was very fortunate, but I think the biggest thing that rubs off on me with those guys is the work ethic. In other words, those guys just didn't get to be that good. I mean, yes, they were naturally gifted and talented, but they got there because they worked their butts off, you know. And I remember Chelios, you know, a lot of times in practice, and we see these guys practice every day is another thing, right? You see games, and then you see them practice every day, and how they conduct themselves in practices, how they work, you know, before and after the practice. They're out there, you know, doing this or working on that. So that to me was a thing that, and it rubs off on teammates big time. You know, it does rub off. So that was a big thing that impressed me about a lot of those guys. And I could go down the list of a lot of really good, you know, quality people that I was fortunate enough to play with over the years. And I think it helps you after you know, even when you get out of the game, right? So Yeah.
Would you guys when you were on Pittsburgh and you first get drafted, was Mario already there, or did he come in after you?
He came in after, and he came in about 2 or 3 years after. And I remember when he came in, he came in '84, and I got drafted '81, I believe, '81, '82. So I was there a couple 3 years, and we had some tough years there. We're not winning. Randy Carlisle was our big defenseman that we had there, but we drafted Mario, and once he came in, things started to turn around big time. But he came in, he couldn't speak any English, very little English. And so he kind of got a bad rap, I think, and that's part of it because, tough talking to reporters. And Gretzky at the time, everybody loved Gretzky. He was a great player, but he was very good with the press too, right?
Right,
so,
right.
that was a big difference there. But Mario, more shy, more quiet, but a really good guy in the room. And he became more comfortable, obviously, every season as it went along, right?
Do you guys as players, as he gets when he gets drafted, do you guys know everything's going to change, or does it still take you guys playing with him before you know everything's going to change?
You don't know because he's got to adapt to the NHL versus junior. I mean, we know he's coming in as a big name and everything like that, but it didn't take us long to realize things were going to change pretty quick when we saw him.
Right. You're like, holy shit! Wish we could tell him he can't speak English.
I mean, I think it was his first game where he scored his first shift in Boston. He made an unbelievable play. He just went around Ray Bork and went in and scored like it was, too easy.
Right.
So, he became pretty popular pretty quick.
Hey, so Busky, what about you played in some pretty darn good cities? I mean, you're kind of still partial to Pittsburgh over all that because Chicago, obviously, Vancouver. These are LA are kind of gateway cities for the but Pittsburgh not so much. But would you put Pittsburgh at the top of your list? I mean, not asking to pick your favorite kid, but
Yeah, it probably is, only because I was here the longest. I knew the city the most. I still got a lot of friends back there I played with and keep in touch with, right? So I think that's always felt most like home. I mean, I bought a condo there. I had property there. But I always say I was very fortunate. Chicago, probably the best sports town, all-around sports town I've been in. It's a fabulous city. LA Kings with Bruce McNall and Gretz there was another experience. It was Hollywood. And we had Hollywood in our dressing room after. I mean, Stallone, all these guys were always hanging around. Kurt Russell, John Candy. So that was another taste of things there, right? Which was really pretty cool looking back. So, yeah.
Do you know the league is changing when you're in LA? Do you see, this is becoming popular, or is it still like you guys are you don't care about the business, you just care about the game?
No, it was crazy there. It changed quickly, and it was because of '99 going there, right? I mean,
right.
Hollywood started going. I mean, the seats were sold out at the old Fabulous Forum, right? I mean, everything was booming there, and the team was doing quite well, playoff bound. We were in the playoffs, a couple rounds here and there, and then after I left, they went to the finals, I believe, with Barry Melrose. So I mean, they had a string there where they were winning. It was, they were like the talk of the town a little bit, the LA Kings, they were a high flying team, and it was great to see. And it was mainly because '99 went there and kind of helped turn things around. It wasn't just him. I mean, there's a lot of great players they eventually got there that helped them, so.
Hey, Busky, talking about that dressing room, which is kind of that's where you get insulated from the rest of the world. But you show up. I mean, you had Mario, it was huge, a huge star. But then you get to LA with Gretz. When you walked into that dressing room, you had everyone from Hollywood and everybody else kind of kicking around. Did that kind of throw you off a little bit? Like, what was your initial thoughts on that?
Well, the coolest thing, Sharps, when I went there was a quick story. When I was in Pittsburgh, I wore number 7, and we traded for Paul Coffey, who wore number 7 at Evans. Like, oh, geez, I'm going to probably lose my number here. So we come there and Koff takes 77. I said, Koff, you could have my number. Just give me 10% of your contract. He says, no, I'm taking 77.
He's so cheap.
Yeah. So I go to LA, and so I walk in the room and I see my name and my number 77 hanging from my stall. I go, wow. And Pete Demers comes up, and Pete was with Coffee in Edmonton, right? And he was our equipment guy there. And so Paul had called out, told Pete, give Roddy 77. So that's how I got 77 in LA.
That's cool.
Pretty cool story.
Yeah, that's a great story.
Yeah.
He's cheap, but he knows how to do it right.
I guess, yeah, needed more.
We talked about hockey, but let's go back to flying. What's the biggest thing since you started at Hawaiian Airlines to leaving the other day? What's the biggest change you've seen as far as the airline industry, and where do you think you see it going?
Good question. You know what? It just keeps increasing. Air travel keeps booming. Yeah, all these airlines keep expanding. I don't know how they can keep going and going, but I guess the biggest one change I can pick out was 9/11, because that changed the dimension of so much stuff, right? I mean,
Right.
Before that, you think about this. I remember when I first got hired, captains or first officers would take their kids' school teachers up for landing to watch the landing in the cockpit. It was, you could go walk around the the plane, right, as a captain, FO, whatever, and talk to people. There was when that came in, the security changed immensely. So to me, that is the one biggest thing. The security that has tightened up big time. TSA, all that stuff, going through security. You go way back in the early 2000s or late 90s, it was totally different.
I didn't even think about you guys walking around.
Yeah, you could just
beforehand.
walk around. It was pretty crazy thinking, the way things are now.
We used to be able to go to the gate and meet your family here in the
Yeah,
States.
well,
I
sure.
don't know if we ever could at Canada, but could do it. And, just like everything else, technology has obviously affected the aviation world just as much as it's affected everybody else with their, updates and everything going so fast. Busky, we got to ask, we don't want to keep you too long. We know you're busy, but I see that shirt you have on there, and you might want to show everybody maybe a little story about this shirt. Because I know you wore it especially for today, and I think I was there for the presentation of it not too long ago.
Jeff, you were there. So we were up on the North Shore with all my friends and family and relatives, about 18, 20 of us. So we're at the Turtle Bay Resort, which is really nice. And so my good friend Craig Kay told us to go to Lele's. It's a nice restaurant at the golf course. So we go there, and there's a local guy there that's friends with Craig. He heard that I flew for Hawaii, and so he just, had a nice big table for us. And he just brought food out family style. No ordering. He brought out everything. Didn't he, Sharps? Like
It's unbelievable.
pasta, seafood, all kinds of appetizers, and just kept it coming, right? So anyway, he gave me a nice shirt. It's called Lele's, and I could do it. I sent it to him like I'm doing a commercial here. Lele's, it was awesome, wasn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it was right at the golf course, and
Lele's at Turtle Bay at the golf course.
that's it.
Yeah.
Great spot.
You will not be disappointed, and you
Yeah.
might want to get a reservation because they're lined up. And it was top shelf.
And if you mention
100%.
Paul Coffee, you get 10% off. It's, Rod, you're one of the funnest people to hang out with. When we get to hang out, I always have really good giggles with you. And I know how much you and Jeff love flying. And I think it's awesome what you did. And, coming from the home of car sales in Edmonton, Alberta, Wetaskiwin.
That's it.
I hope that town knows, just because you grew up in a small town doesn't mean you can't take the world on, and you took the world on and you won, and I love it. So congratulations, Rod.
Thanks, Baggsy. And I look forward to seeing you come back to Vegas here, and I'm going to come to your show whenever that is.
Now you can show up. Usually I'm either giving you a ride to the airport or just saying hi to you as you go by. So yeah. So
I'll clear my schedule for you. Which
I love it, bro.
Hey, Busky, we usually do a shout out at the end of the show, but before we let you go, is there anybody you want to shout out? This is your chance before this goes worldwide. Obviously with Lord Bagg's ability to send stuff out in social media, you can give a shout out, and I'm sure it'll get to somebody.
Well, I'll give a shout out to all my relatives in Medicine Hat, of course, my close family in Wetaskiwin, my mother, my sister Gail, and my brother Wayner. He's just probably getting off the plane this morning, Jeff. After he's had a tough 7 days, 6, 7 days in Waikiki and all over. So, but he's in Edmonton, so the cold air is going to clear his head, I think.
He's coming back to reality today.
Yeah, he's coming back to reality. So
Yeah.
that's about it. Yeah.
Love it, Rod.
Good. Thanks, Busky.
Congratulations, Rod.
Thanks, guys. Right on.
Pretty great guy.
Yeah. No, there's, you know what? He's something else. He's, just hell of
Where did he
a
play junior?
ride.
Where
Huh?
did he play junior in Medicine Hat? Where did he
Yeah,
play?
he was in junior Medicine Hat. And he played with a bunch of characters. He played with the Hammer, Bob the Hammer, Bob the Hammer Fleming. Bob Hammer's got a bar here in Vegas in Henderson called Hammers, and then they had this other guy named Boxcar. That was his nickname. Boxcar.
Because of the way it was built, or just
Yeah, and he had a chance to set. Hammer was telling me the story. So Hammer was on the team with Rod. You get those two guys tough as nails, and I can't remember Boxcar's name, but anyways, he had a chance to set the penalty minute record for the Western Hockey League in his last game of the year. And so Hammer said to him before the game, "Are you going to set the record?" He goes, "No, I'm not a goon." I'll have to get the story from Hammer.
That's awesome.
I can't remember his name, Boxcar. But anyways, anybody out here that if we got any Hat alumni still listening, they'll know exactly who it was. And anyways, yeah. Rod was in Medicine Hat.
The reason I bring it up was while we were off, the World Juniors happened, and I love the World Juniors. I think Canada as a country gets a little crazy on those kids because all these, we talk about the hockey in the world is just so much stronger. And I think it's better for the game when Canada isn't winning every time, even though, we'd love for them to win every time. It means the quality coming over from Europe and America and is so much better. So your thoughts?
Yeah, I would agree. I said it years ago, I always thought the most pressure of any sport that I've seen, and obviously I've only played hockey and, some baseball and that, but the Canadian kids for the World Junior have so much pressure put on them, and they looked really good. And then I'd heard rumors when they played in the game they got knocked out, they were kind of skating over the red line before the game, and kind of, to me, what's happened is there seems to be they get distracted on the way to grandma's house, and if they just played, I think they'd be just fine. Now it's a bit of a dry spell here. U.S. won it the last 2 years. Sweden, give them credit, but these kids come over from Europe. A lot of them play over here now, and a lot of them are ready for the North American game. So you're not going to intimidate them and scare them anymore. And the thing with the Swedes and the Finns, Czechia, all these nations have is these kids can all skate and they all can handle the puck. So you know what? We have got to figure it out. I don't know what the answer is. What's that? Sorry.
The other guys when you're playing against teams with you have the full game and they have the full game. It's mental. You can't be skating over the line and trying to intimidate a guy. I think at that point you might be wanting to blame who's ever in charge of these teams, not the kids. Like, how do you round these guys in so their brains aren't going that way? And now when you haven't intimidated them, you're falling behind. So
yeah, and I mean, I think there's a certain amount of intimidation in hockey. There's no question about it.
Absolutely.
We got some kids that on some of the teams that I'm on the ice with, and I tell them, you can play to the line, but you got to watch, go over the line. Like right up to the line is great. And in minor hockey, sometimes you got to even back it off a bit more, because sometimes if you get in the vicinity of someone, you get a penalty. But I think with Canada, specifically like at USA Hockey, if you just want to look at North America, they won the last 2 years of World's Junior. They got knocked out this year, probably regroup. But in Canada, I think there's some tweaks that they can make immediately, which is just help these kids kind of just stay within themselves. Because when you watch the first couple of games of the World Junior, the only word that comes to mind is chaotic. It's like chaos out there. And then the kids settle down. I totally get it. I mean, playing for your country, what an honor.
That's tournament play, though.
Yeah.
Right. That's tournament play. And being that ball of energy at that age is really hard to control. And how do you, who's the group that's able to take those kids that are basically bouncing balls and able to form them into something, right? So, and they keep coming after these kids, but I really think it's coaching level up is our problem right now.
Well,
Because
if you,
they're kind of like, it's kind of like when everybody was running the Oilers for all those years and still believing that they were like the 80s, right? It's the kind of the same thing.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I mean, Edmonton. You look at them; they've always kind of played the same way. But if you look at the World Juniors, and in the fairness to these kids,
No.
it's chaos out there. It's chaotic to start, but as the tournament goes on, like it's just like the NHL playoffs. In the first few games of the first round, it's nuts, right? Guys that maybe had 5 hits all year have 5 hits in the first period of a game. Like, I
Right.
mean, the hitting and the rest of it goes through because what's at stake is so elevated, right? We're not just going for 2 points anymore, and but I would just like to see. I thought, and I really liked. I watched a lot of it because I was up in Canada to watch
They
when it
made you.
first started, and I watched obviously when I came back to Vegas. That's right. My mom was like, "You shall watch the World Junior," but
Sit down.
I watched a bunch of it, and I just think I really liked, in just talking about Canada, really liked where they were. I liked what they were doing as the tournament, and then all of a sudden they just toe picked, and some of it you just got to tip your hat to European countries. They're figuring it out, and so maybe we need to take a few things from what the Europeans are doing and implement them in North America, because you see the European influence in the NHL every night. So,
I'll say this to the Canadian program. Those most resistant to change are the first to be left behind. Boom.
wow. I don't have anything after that. I don't even know if I can get a shout out in. But
Probably want to go back to bed and cry that I came out something.
yeah, I was like, I don't get emotional. I think I'm gonna get emotional again.
But
Shout
it's
outs
true. But it's
today.
true, right? Like they
Yep,
fight
yep.
change.
Well,
So
it's like the business that says, well, that's the way we've always done it.
yeah.
You're done. And you know what? As we all get older, and what Rod is having Rod on today is a great example of that. One door closed, he kicked open the other door, and what's next? And you talk about it. If you live your life looking through a straw, right? It's going to be tough, and it's hard. You got to push the edges out, and that's what I think. Maybe in our youth hockey, and maybe we have a look over the water and see what these guys are doing a little bit to help elevate their kids. But anyways, I don't want to keep talking. That was a great line. You have any shout outs?
I got a shout out. I got a shout out to the people of Eastern Canada. Moncton, Halifax, and Ottawa just had a fantastic time. I've never been to Moncton before. I stayed at the Delta Hotel. No big shout out to them, but this is the best. This is the best.
Yeah.
I drive up from Halifax, in the parking lot, and pull in, I gotta go and get my room key, go out to get my stuff, and I'm looking around and I see all these kids inside. It's hockey kids are staying there. I see all these moms in their vehicles smoking pot, just like they're just getting baked out of their tree. Oh my God. It was so funny just dealing with these kids. I had to go out and they're out there just sitting in it's really cold and they're sitting in their car. That was great. I counted 5. Boom, boom, boom on my way back to the hotel. I was like loving it. So shout out to the hockey moms of the Eastern Canada.
the high hockey moms. That's a tough one. Oh, before I do my shout out, I got to bring this up. Look
Yeah.
look at that.
Look, we got hats.
We got hats, so we're gonna. I guess we'll present it to Captain Rod Buskas, our first one. We'll give it to Busky Boy.
You should put it on right now over top of your hat.
Yeah, exactly. I'll see if I can fit it. I'll do it like my grandpa used to wear. Take the back of it off. That's how my grandpa wears hats, and you wear it like that. So there we go.
Hat. That's
Yeah,
good.
look at that. I don't look like a tool like that, but that's good. I'll shout out to Rod for coming on, and a couple things blew me away. The outpouring of love and respect for Rod. And you know what? Wherever you work, whoever you're with, do your best to connect with them, because there's people Rod hasn't seen in 20 or 30 years in the hockey community. We had, and one guy we forgot, and his name's Brent. He works for Allegiant here in Vegas. He came to the gate. Now this is the aviation side, to wish Rod well before we blasted off for Hawaii. So that's how much he means in the aviation community to people, and some other guys. But in the hockey community, it just blew me away, the impact he had on so many different people. So that was great. And then just a shout out to everyone that came along, his family. The funniest thing he said to me, this was in November, he goes, I just want to keep it low key, like 2 or 3 people.
That's really funny.
So a shout out to everyone who made Rod's retirement, and the people that showed up at the gate in Honolulu to wish him well. And if you, the tag for the videos on here, if you want to see something and see a guy that connected with and continues to connect with other people, that's your guy. So that's all I got. Love, Tall.
Love, doll.